Hey everyone. We hear it all the time, right? AI is going to change the world, but how? Today, we're going to cut through the noise and look at how a piece of code can literally reshape our neighborhoods, our careers, and, believe it or not, our entire planet. Let's dive right in.
So, let's just start with a quick thought experiment. Picture an AI. It's built by some of the smartest people out there, and its whole purpose is just one thing: to be efficient. Make things faster, maybe even fairer, save a company some money. It all sounds pretty great, doesn't it? But what if that exact same tool
could actually end up making poverty worse? I know, it sounds completely backward, but this is a super real risk. See, AI doesn't just exist in a server rack somewhere. Its decisions ripple out into the real world, and sometimes they have huge consequences that nobody, not even its creators, saw coming.
To really get our heads around how something like this could happen, we're going to look at a perfect example. We'll call the company Novabank. It's a case study that shows really clearly how an AI's cold logic can lead to some seriously unfair outcomes. Okay, so here's the story with Novabank. They launched this brand new, cutting-edge AI to approve loans. And instead of just the usual stuff, it used what's called alternative data. We're talking about everything from what you buy online to who you're friends with on social media. The idea was actually pretty noble: find good people who the old system was ignoring. But the result? Oh, it was a total disaster. The AI just found patterns that mirrored the biases already out there in society. Before they knew it, it was automatically rejecting applicants from poor neighborhoods, effectively cutting off entire communities from getting loans, and just making the gap between the rich and poor even widen.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. Sure, that AI might have been making the bank money in the short run, but the cost to society was just massive. This quote says it all, really. You have to balance innovation with its impact. Because if your shiny new tech is actually creating these huge social divides, it's not just wrong, it's a massive risk to your business down the line. We're talking regulators, bad press, losing customer trust, the whole shebang.
So that's the impact on a whole community. But what about the impact on you and me, on our jobs? We've all heard the scary stories. And this is where we really need to get clear on two very different ideas: displacement and augmentation.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It's what everyone is thinking. You hear about some incredibly powerful new AI, and the first thought is that thing coming for my job? And the answer is, well, it's not a simple yes or no.
Really? The future of our jobs could go down one of two roads. Over on the left, you've got displacement. That's the nightmare scenario, right? An AI comes in, does the entire job, and suddenly the human worker isn't needed anymore. But then, on the right, you have augmentation. And this is totally different. This is where AI acts more like an assistant. It takes over the boring, repetitive stuff, the paperwork, the data entry, so the human can focus on what we do best: thinking critically, coming up with creative solutions, and actually talking to clients.
To make this super clear, there's a really simple analogy that I find is, well, just incredibly helpful. Let's think about AI as a co-pilot. So think about it this way. Displacement is like the airline just straight up firing the pilot and sticking a robot in the cockpit. I mean, it's terrifying, and it leads to job losses. But augmentation? That's like giving the pilot a brand new, state-of-the-art computer that handles all the routine navigation. What's the result? Well, the human pilot is now free to focus on the things that really truly matter: the overall safety of the flight, the comfort of the passengers. The tech doesn't replace the human. It makes the human better at their job.
But, and this is so important, this positive augmentation future doesn't just happen by accident. Nope. It takes a real, deliberate strategy of reskilling. Companies have to actually invest in teaching their people how to work with AI. That means teaching things like prompt engineering, which is basically just the art of talking to an AI to get what you want, and data literacy, so you can make sense of the information it gives you. It's all about creating these new kinds of jobs that mix human empathy and creativity with the raw speed of machine.
Okay, so we've talked communities, we've talked jobs. Now let's pull the camera back even further and look at an impact that's almost completely hidden from view but has truly massive global consequences. I'm talking about AI's environmental cost.
Yeah, it turns out every single time you ask an AI a question, it has a real physical cost. These incredibly powerful models are running in these giant data centers that are just chugging electricity 24/7, and all that electricity creates a pretty significant carbon footprint, which of course contributes to climate change.
So where does all this energy use come from? Well, it's mostly two things. First, you have training. You can think of this like sending the AI to college. It's this one-time, absolutely enormous effort where it basically reads the entire internet to learn how to think. It uses a mind-boggling amount of energy. But then you have inference. This is like asking that college grad a question. Now, the energy for just one question is tiny, right? But the thing is, it happens millions, if not billions of times every single day.
And this visual just shows you the scale of the issue perfectly. That huge bar on the left, that's the one-time training cost. It's massive. But then look at the bar on the right. That represents all those little requests, all those inferences. Each one is just a drop in the bucket, but when you add up billions of drops, you get an ocean. It adds up to a truly colossal demand for energy over the model's lifetime.
So this leads to a really critical trade-off for anyone developing AI. Do you absolutely need the world's biggest, most powerful, most energy-hungry model for what you're doing? Or, just maybe, could a smaller, leaner, more efficient model get the job done just as well, but with a way smaller carbon footprint?
Right. So we've looked at some pretty big challenges. Hidden bias, job losses, the environmental cost. It can all feel a little overwhelming. But the big question is, how do we move forward responsibly? The good news is, we don't have to just guess. There's actually a really practical framework we can use.
So how in the world do you balance the incredible promise of AI with all these pretty serious risks? It feels complicated, but there's a simple, and I mean really simple but powerful tool that can help us make better decisions.
It's called the impact triangle. And the idea is, before you launch any AI project, you have to ask 3 basic questions, one for each corner. First corner, profit. Is this thing actually going to make money? That's the obvious one. Second corner, people. What's the human impact here? Is it going to put people out of work? Is it going to exclude certain customers, like what happened at Novabank? And the third corner, planet. Is the energy cost, is the carbon footprint actually justified by what we're getting out of it?
And here is the absolute golden rule of the whole thing. It is super easy to get a check mark next to profit. Everybody focuses on that. But if that's the only box you can check, then your project is simply not responsible. You have to be able to address the other 2 corners, people and planet, before you move forward.
What a framework like this does, at the end of the day, is it completely changes the conversation. For so long, the question in the tech world has always been, can we build it? This forces us to stop and ask a much, much more important question, should we build it? So I want to leave you with that thought. The next time you see a headline about some amazing, groundbreaking new AI, don't just be wowed by the technology. Ask yourself the tougher questions. Did the creators just solve for profit? Or did they really think about the impact on people and on our planet? Now you have the tool to make that call for yourself.